This is it. Sedes has finally transitioned and made their way into the microphone market. I'm Mikey, you're watching Sedes TV. So this right here is the Orpheus by Sedes, and while it's not a product that you would find typically in the Sedes North America lineup, it is something that is manufactured by our extremely talented team from Sedes Indonesia. No, this is not available in the United States or Canada, but we're going to go ahead and leave you guys with the link in the description to go ahead and import it. This is actually a really awesome rig, and what's really cool is obviously the features which you see here in front of me, they're all actually included. We're going to go ahead and talk about those piece by piece throughout this video. Okay, here's the Orpheus. So I've actually already gone ahead and opened this up. I do apologize. I couldn't wait. I had to take a look and see what was inside. But we're going to crack her open again and just go through everything that you get with this package. So right off the hopper, we've got the pop filter, which is a nice, really nice build actually. I have a couple made by Apex, which are pretty solid for what they are, but they were rather pricey. I think they were closer to like the $40 or $50 range. Definitely not on the high-end spectrum, but they definitely weren't low-end either. So seeing the build quality on this the way it is really nice. And what I actually really like about this mounting bracket is just the way it's set up. It's padded, so you don't have to worry about scuffing or scratching your boom arm, which we'll talk about in just a second. And it's actually pitted, which is really nice. And this is actually going to allow everything to lock in, you know, flush and keep everything nice and clean, but also sturdy. Next to that, we've got our 2.5 meter USB cable, nice and simple, easy peasy. We've got the microphone clip, and this is actually really cool. I wasn't big on it when I first opened it up. I looked at it and I hummed and hawed. It's plastic, but it's a really thick and dense ABS. It doesn't bend that easy. You do require some force, and I mean, we'll get into the microphone mounting with this. It's actually pretty cool. This actually has a 5/8 threaded end, which you'll use for the tripod that comes with the camera. And it also has a 3/8 adapter, which I'm going to go over in just a second. Next, we got the tripod, and it looks stupid simple, but once you build it, it actually looks effective, and it's low profile. It doesn't take up a lot of space. I've seen some microphones over the last few months come out where they just had these heinous bases that were way too big. It doesn't look like much when you first open it up, but believe me, this thing slaps. We've got your tabletop bracket, which is going to mount your boom arm directly to your desk. And again, another cool feature, something I want to shout out real quick to Sedes, is the fact that they actually went ahead and used a grommet and used a plastic/rubber as opposed to using metal on metal, which we all know scratches the boom arms when you're placing them inside to mount them. So good on them for that. It's the small things that count with me. We've got the actual boom arm itself, and again, there's nothing too crazy about this. Again, these are pretty much a universal design in my opinion. I've used some high-end ones, I've used some mid-tier ones, and some low-end ones, companies like Newer as an example. They're all pretty much the same. I mean, right now I think I've got like one made by KNF or some weird off-brand one. And it works, it works. It's holding the microphone right now. We've been using this for 2 seasons with STV. It's done the trick. But yeah, pretty simple, pretty straightforward, not much to it. And of course, the creme de la creme, which is the microphone. This is a really, really nice design. It's simple and effective, which I really like. There isn't too much to it. It's powered by USB once again, and it runs 5 volts continuous. Next, we've got the wind cover now. And lastly, we have a shock mount. All right, we've got everything unboxed. It's time to have some fun. We're gonna go ahead and thread this bad boy on real quick. Just like that. Grab said microphone, pull the clips, and in she goes. Now, if you're watching that really closely, something I want you to take a look at here is the padding. I'm again, a sucker for detail, and I can appreciate the fact that Sedes has gone ahead and padded the inside of the clip to ensure that that plastic isn't gonna scratch on this nicely coated matte black body. So once we get her on there like so, we can go ahead and make the adjustments as needed for our own use. This is more than sufficient. It holds, it's very stable, it doesn't wobble. Nothing fell over, it's a good day. I'm gonna go ahead and actually start configuring the boom arm next because why not? It came with it. Alright, so we've now seen two different configurations that this microphone can do with the tripod and microphone clip, the boom arm, and the pop filter, but there's actually still one more to go. We're going to talk about the shock mount. So what's really cool about the shock mount is that you've got a shock resistant mounting plate that's going to allow you to attach the microphone directly to it, screw everything into the bottom, and this is essentially going to stop any sort of vibration from movement or jarring on the desk. So let's go ahead and get this set up, and I'll give you guys a quick tutorial and run through of how it works. There's actually a spacer and adapter that's built into the bottom of the Orpheus. Now, when you are taking this apart, please be mindful not to go ahead and screw this bottom cap here out, because this will actually end up opening up the tray to your microphone. Things could spill out and you're into a mess. So simply put a firm grip on the top of the microphone like so, making sure that you've got that ring already set up, and then just simply unscrew. Once the adapter ring is out, we can actually go ahead and just simply pop her on, hold it upside down. Now, for some of you, if it's too much of a hassle, just simply rest the microphone carefully on your surface. That way you can stabilize everything. Grab your adapter ring and simply start to thread it on. Now, before you thread it on, please make sure to actually go ahead and dial back before threading on, just to make sure that you're not cross-threading and damaging the mounting ring adapter which is attached to your microphone. If that goes, you're pretty much up the creek without a paddle. Now that we've got it slightly tightened on, we can actually go ahead and hold the spacer and then just simply twist until it's tightened. Now, it doesn't need to be fastened down with Thor's grip, just enough to simply hold it and secure it. Once that's done, we're good to go. Now, one thing to be mindful of as well is that when we are mounting this, we're going to want to make sure that these dials for your volume and your equalizer Now, one thing we'll want to make sure is that the dials for your echo as well as your gain are turned around facing you, as that is the side of the microphone that we want closest to our mouth when talking. So we'll just simply go ahead and bring it back just a smidge, just to loosen it up, and this is going to allow us to rotate the entire unit. Again, without adding too much force and over tightening it. There we go. So we've got the Saydays logo pointed outwards, which is what we want. From there, we can actually go ahead now and just tighten it up. Now, if you do decide to leave the pop filter on like I have, just simply swing the arm out to give you enough room to go ahead and thread this on without bouncing off anything and, nicking the side of your microphone. Alright, now we've got that on there, we can go ahead and apply our pop filter, and for this, I'm actually just going to wrap it around like so. And again, you can move this and manipulate this any which way you want. Again, as I stated earlier, I like to have about 2 to 3 inches clearance between my face and the microphone, and then you can go ahead and adjust as needed. So now at this point, if I were streaming or I was playing a game of any sort, I've got keyboard and mouse right here in front of me, the microphone's at a comfortable level. Obviously the gain isn't going to be cranked up because of us being so close. You'll be able to dial in those settings really easily just by moving your knobs, and Bob is your uncle. So now set up like this, we can go ahead and actually start gaming. Let's say I have a keyboard and mouse in front of me. I can go ahead and game, still have full access and view of my monitor without anything being in the way. But again, this might not be the setup for you. You may end up electing to go to the tripod and mic clamp, which is okay. Okay, we're back upstairs in the office. We're all rigged up, and right now we've got the Orpheus plugged in via USB using the tripod and microphone mount. As far as placement goes, this is probably the most ideal for me in a gaming scenario or usage scenario. It's roughly about 13 to 14 inches away from my face. So again, enough that it'll pick up everything that I'm saying without sounding distorted or without sounding like it's recorded from a million miles away. So that is our primary objective today. We'll record this and we'll throw it into Resolve, where we're going to go ahead and play with the file a little bit. We'll go ahead and gate it just to simulate what you would experience being on Discord, Skype, Zoom, or in many cases OBS when you're streaming. And then also obviously listen to the unprocessed audio so we can hear it exactly for what it is. Now, as far as audio settings go on the microphone, I've gone ahead and just turned off the echo altogether. It's a feature that I personally have zero use for, but I'm sure there are a couple of you that would have some fun playing with it or find use out of it if you were singing into a microphone or just messing around with voice effects altogether. And as far as the volume goes, I've actually got it at about 50%. I feel like that's going to be a really good sweet spot where we can dial in a nice sound. Everything will be full-bodied without having to tweak anything too much. Okay, so now we've got our audio all set up and rigged up, ready to go. I've got it positioned once again about that 12 to 13 inches from my mouth, and I'm talking directly into the microphone. Now we're going ahead and we're starting the voice recording, and I'm talking directly into the microphone, and slowly I'm going to be moving my head as I am right now over to the left just so we can hear the differences to see where anything cuts out. And we're going to go ahead now and move right back to the center. We're still hearing the microphone, and I'm sure that signal's getting stronger as my mouth is pointed directly at it. We've gone ahead and seen exactly how everything hooks up, and as you can see, it's actually quite simple. And at the price point of $60 USD, I gotta say, everything packs a punch. It does exactly what I expect it to do, and it, in some ways, actually exceeded my expectations in terms of its performance and sound quality. I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys the links down below once again so that you can check out STV Indonesia and their current offering and product lineup, maybe even score yourself the new Orpheus. Until next time, I'm Mikey, this is STV, growing together with gamers. We'll see you guys next week.